Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am AttiDude back in another video, and today in this video or in this tutorial we'll learn about identifiers and keywords. So this is the fourth tutorial of the C# math course, and if you have not seen our first tutorials, I recommend you go to the link in the description or the I button to get there and watch the videos. So without any further ado, let's get started. Open up Visual Studio, and this was the class that we edited in our last tutorial. And now we need to understand what are identifiers and keywords. First, let's understand what are identifiers. For now, we don't want this, so close this so that we can get a bit of a space. And whichever the words in the program you see that has blue color like this, class namespace using public, static, void, string, byte, int, all of these, whichever has this kind of a dark bluish kind of color, are keywords. So what are they? Keywords are basically the words that are preserved by a specific language. In our case is C#, and the language does this so that these words cannot be used as identifiers. In this video later explain you what are identifiers, but just understand that C# doesn't want you to use these keywords as name of variable, class, or function or namespace or whatever it is. It don't want you to have this. For example, if we write int here, it says identify expected. So it gives an error. Basically, you cannot write any variable or function or any kind of a name inside of C# with this keyword, except in the comments. You can write anything in the comments, so you need not to worry about the comments, but you need to worry about the identifiers. So there are a ton of keywords, not just one ton, but there are tons of keywords that are provided with C#, and we cannot use them. As we discussed, they basically have they have different sorts of function. For example, public here states that accessibility, then void here is kind of a keyword used to declare methods. Class here is used to declare classes. Then we have namespace, keyword used to declare the namespace, and we have a lot, bool, and even true is a keyword. Bool, char, string, decimal, double, float, int, and byte. But these are just a few of the keywords. So let us see what identifiers are. Identifiers basically are the names of either variables, properties, functions, classes, or whatever you declare. Namespace, delegates, or the list goes on and on. So basically these are the names of anything that you declare inside of the code, inside of a namespace, class, whatever you're gonna call, whatever is inside of a script. So here we have the keyword byte, and then we have the identifier B. There are certain conventions which should be followed by a programmer so that it is easier to read the code. One of them is that you need, it's better if you write the kind of identifier which is more understandable. That means you need to declare a type of identifier which is meaningful. For example, we have might, so I cannot just write BIFDESCO because we just have 69 lines of code and it is pretty small, even though we have left lines a lot. So this is really small script. If you're working on a game industry, you may have to write thousands of lines of code. So don't be scared, but take care that don't write identifiers or the names of variables, classes, function as A, B, C, D, or just non-meaningful name. It's better if you write a meaningful name. It should be more understandable. What is its function? For example, when we have byte here, we can write my byte, and here you can see it shows a warning, but it also shows an error. Let us just undo and let's explore some other conventions before writing the identifiers. One more convention is that there are two cases for defining any identifier, and that are like if you are defining a variable, then you need to follow the Camel Case, and if you're declaring method, class, or rest of the type of variables, or whatever you're gonna call, not variables but rest of the objects like function, classes, then you need to take care that you use the Pascal case. Most of the people don't know what this is, and it often gets confusing what it is. So it's better to understand. What is a camel case? A camel case is used in variables. So camel case is basically a type of case that we use to define identifiers, in which, for example, we write this and paste this here. Here you can see that the first letter of the first one is small, and the first letter of the second, whatever you call, it's block capital, and that is camel case. For example, if you're declaring another identifier for integer, let me show you a new trick. If you select a variable, for my case it shows green type, and you can see that it is highlighted wherever it is. So you can go and hit rename, and when you do that, you can just like my int for player health, and when you hit apply or hit enter, it will apply wherever it sees this types in the new for you. It is a really good tool for visuals and for programmers that is built in with Visual Studio, because most of the time, most of the beginners and even the pros write names which are not meaningful sometimes and want to change afterwards, because it is like, this is not perfect, I need to change it to something else. And most of the people do that, even I do that. And for these people, it is a very important tool, very useful tool. So we cannot have this big number as health, so let's just have 100. But it would be better if we use byte in place of int, because byte takes less storage in byte than int, because byte takes just 1 byte of storage and int takes 2 bytes. So let us just undo that. Go to byte, go ahead and read, but first wait this b. So let me also do b here, then go ahead and rename, and we're gonna rename this to my player health, or just player health. And you see, first letter is small of the first word, and the first letter of the second word and else words will be capital. It is Camel Case. This is called Camel Case. And what is then Pascal case? And then let me show you. For example, let me create a new function. Public void, for example, my test function. So you see that all of the first letters of each and every word inside of the whole name are capital, not small of the first letter of the first word. And this is called Pascal case. I'm gonna delete this. And Pascal case is very much used in defining methods, classes, namespaces, properties. For example, we did write like C is a different word and sharp is also a different word, like that. So Pascal in these. And now let us give these variables some meaningful name. For example, let me name this my int, but it's better if we use the Visual Studio's rename feature. My int, my byte, my float, my double, my decimal, up, then we go down to string and go ahead and rename my text. For example, write text here. It says it's assigned but never used because we have an error. So go back. And hit rename my decimal. My string. Oops. Should have written my text. Then go down to character. Oops. My character. Then we go down to boolean and write no. First, rename this my pool, and from this you can tell that this has more meaningful name, because every identifier for these variables defines what the variable stores. And still you can say it's not meaningful, because if we're writing like health, then we cannot write my byte, my int. You should have written like player health or health, not my byte, my int. Not like that. It should be more meaningful. But for this case, it's okay. There is one more convention that most of the people have performed mistakes on. They mistake using this. For example, you go to string here and hit rename, then say one sample. It says the new name is not a valid identifier. And this happens because you need to have a correct identifier, not like this. And identifier has a convention that we cannot write one first. We need to write one or any sort of number at the last. Or else if you want to write that first, you can write first a sample, or maybe second sample, but not like one sample, two sample, like that. You cannot write, because it shows an error, and also it is not performing the convention. It is not meaningful at that point. And this is it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you leave a like down below. Write in the comments how you liked the video. Subscribe our channel and press the bell icon so that you get the notification whenever we upload any of the videos. So keep practicing, and till then, till the next Sunday, keep practicing, and in the next Sunday I'll upload 2 more videos. I am AttiDude signing out.